mind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself, why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. But break them all, yeah, gotta break them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein, and man, we got a great show for you this evening. That's right, we have the legend himself, the QAnon Shaman, Jacob Chansley on, as well as the leader, or I guess maybe he's the Robin to the Batman. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But David Khait from Fearless Debates, who's been going viral for getting attacked not only on college campuses, but also at Union Station in Washington, D.C. So this should be a very interesting episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. So with all that being said, I wanted first, before we bring on our guests, I just want to say a big thank you to my man, Vasily at freaking KIR Ammo, because look what he sent us. Can you come over here real quick? Look what he sent us. We love KIR Ammo or KIR Ammo. This will protect you from a .30-06 and higher armor penetrating rounds. May God be with you. These effing lunatics are after you, man. Love, we stand by you. Well, I appreciate that. Let's see this thing. Look at this. Damn, this thing is heavy as heck. Damn. Oh, you can't hear me. Shoot my microphone. Damn, dude. This is pimp on a blimp. Let's see. How do I even... Let's see, I guess I click it in here. Dude, it looks like it fits. This thing is heavy, and it's thick, and it's good quality. I believe that it is, I don't know, I think it's Russian engineering. Do I have it on right? Do we know if it is right? I need to
Looks right to me.
Order me some patches, Jimmy. So, all right, well.
Do you want us to call security and they can use their weaponry to test it?
They want to if we have a 22, I would allow that. If this can handle a .30-06. Do we have a 22 or a pellet gun?
It's a little bigger, but I think it could take it.
You know, I think 2 drunk guys got arrested for getting drunk and shooting each other with bulletproof vests on recently. I'm not kidding. Look it up, Jimmy. See if I'm...
No, that's a true story.
Yeah, I told you. See, I know a lot about the news. All right, my hair. I'm having another bad hair day. I'm trying to grow it out. I'm trying to do the Tucker Carlson, and it's not always working.
Well, this next guest wishes he could have a bad hair day.
What? Okay. Well, Jimmy, let's not attack this man because he is a freaking badass. He probably doesn't have a ton of hair because he has a ton of testosterone because he's a real man, unlike you, Jimmy. Okay, let's welcome on our guest, the one, the only, QAnon Shaman, Jacob Chansley. Jacob, how you doing, my man?
What's up, dude? Glad to be back. Thank you for having me.
Jacob, you are a friend of the show. I'm always so grateful anytime I get to speak with you. So tell us, you're in the news, you're suing Donald Trump, and to be honest, I mean, I'm not trying to throw Trump under the bus. I'm happy what he did for January 6th, but a lot of the Epstein stuff, and there's a few other kerfuffles, I'm not too happy or satisfied with. I'm interested in joining this lawsuit with you. Is there room for me, Jacob?
Well, dude, if you look at the lawsuit, you'll see it's not just Donald Trump. It's the IMF, it's the Bank of International Settlements, it's the World Bank, it's the Fed, it's a lot of people, the State of Israel, I even threw them in there. There's a lot of entities in that lawsuit, dude. And so the idea is on the paperwork, it says is if there's any other like plaintiffs that are along with me, and I said every other American or something like that. So you're definitely on it. Everybody's on it in that regard.
Well, we definitely need to sue Israel. And you know, it's funny, our next guest is an Israeli debater. So maybe we can introduce you guys. That would be interesting. But real quick, I like some of the claims though that the central banking system and Federal Reserve are unconstitutional. I agree with that 100%. It literally is backed by nothing. When they took us off the gold standard, it basically makes us a fiat currency that we give it value, but really and truly it could be worthless. Can you explain why the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional?
Absolutely. So first of all, when our founders decided to create our country, Alexander Hamilton was actually in favor of a central bank because he said it would make things easier. But the founders were vehemently against that in a large majority because of the way that the central bank centralizes power. Now, if you understand that the Constitution is designed to separate powers and keep them separated and keep checks and balances therein, then you realize that a central bank is kind of like the antithesis of the Constitution. And when Woodrow Wilson passed it in 1913, along with the corrupted Congress, basically what they did is they let in the Trojan horse. And then, like virus, like a computer virus, the bad code began to spread year after year after year after year. And this whole other system was created that is totally unconstitutional and actually centralizes power to less than 1% of the population, because they're the ones that own the Fed, or the central bank.
Well, and I agree with that, and I think more people need to realize that. And I also like how you say all radio stations and most of their DJs are part of the intelligence community, and that is true, because we have a thing called Operation Mockingbird, where the CIA even said that they have representation in every single media outlet, from the newspaper to the radio to the movies to streaming to everything. So I like that you're bringing attention to that. Now, this one is a little kind of weird. A scene in 2008, Christopher Nolan's directed Batman film, The Dark Knight, and many plot details in 2009's Avatar were cribbed from his writing and are proof that the NSA was spying on him. Now, I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying those are arguably the two biggest movies of all time, Jacob. That seems like it, could be a little bit of a reach. They're literally the two biggest movies of those years.
Well, Alex, it's a straw man. That's a straw man
Okay,
argument. If you read the case, then what you realize is that what I'm suggesting is that in the movie The Dark Knight, which is, like you said, one of the biggest movies of all time, everybody saw it. There is a scene where the Joker burns a bunch of money, and where the Joker, with a single phone call, blows up the police station. Now, if you understand the way that the intelligence community communicates, if you understand the way that my phone call to KFYI in 2008, where I talk about Tesla Tower technology and infinite free clean wireless electricity on the FCC controlled airwaves, then that was equivalent to blowing up the whole station with a single phone call. And in that phone call, I talked about burning money as a way of basically combating inflation and non-violently resisting the tyranny that's being pushed on us through the Fed. So when I saw that in The Dark Knight, I was like, that's interesting. And then I wrote my declaration. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that is interesting. But there's a lot of foreshadowing in all movies. So sorry, that's the point I was trying to make.
I know, but here's what you have to understand is that in and of itself, it's insignificant and seems silly.
Yeah.
But then when you dig into it a little bit deeper, if you dig into the case a little bit deeper, what you find is that in 2009, unbeknownst to anybody else in the world except for the intelligence agencies and the NSA, I wrote a Declaration of Independence and Nonviolent War, where I basically said, I'm not going to cooperate with this government. This government is treasonous. And in that Declaration of Independence, which is in the case, the whole declaration is in the case, so you can read it for yourself. I basically make the case that this central power, this government, is corrupt, that it's not serving the people, that it hasn't since the days of the Native Americans and all the treaties that it's broken and all the land that's been stolen. And, I talk about reclaiming that land on their behalf. And so this idea of this main character in the movie Avatar, like less than 6 months after I write this thing, is named Jake, and he's helping these people reclaim their land from, these evil industrial tyrants, basically, that are trying to steal native land. And there's a lot more that goes into it. Something that you have to understand is that intelligence agencies, or secret societies, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer said it best. They have 1,000 ways a Sunday of getting back at you if they seek to target you. Now, when you understand the way that a person's thoughts and emotions can be read through technology, through what's called psychotronic weaponry or neuroelectromagnetic weapons, the effects of which people are familiar with, it's called Havana syndrome. Yeah. If it's weaponized, you can liquefy people's insides. But that can also allow you to tap into people's thoughts, plant ideas in people's heads. It can also allow you to, say, start messing with what they perceive as reality. So they can start seeing some of the things that they're thinking or some of the things that they're doing in private on the silver screen in front of them. And I'll give you an example of a story I heard from somebody that was a satanic ritual abuse survivor out of Hollywood.
A survivor, okay. I thought you were going to say abuser, okay, survivor, abuse survivor. Sorry, you just clarify that.
Yeah, abuse survivor. Forgive me. She basically said that, story goes, this dude got his kids taken away from him by CPS for no good reason, and he kept trying to get his kids back. He only got to see his kids for an hour, maybe once a week at the most, and it was always supervised visits. In that hour, his kids are telling him that they were getting raped, and he was trying to do something about this. And he went to the woman that was looking after his kids, and it was this old English woman, this tall old English woman, with a very specific accent. And she kept assuring him that everything was fine and nothing was going on, but his kids kept saying they were getting raped. So he went to the cops, he went to the detectives, he went to the media, he went to everybody he could, went to CPS, and nobody was doing anything. Eventually he took it to court, and in court, this woman, this old English woman, showed up with the kids and assured the judge that everything was fine. The police officer said they went to the home and said everything was fine, and blah, 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 blah. And lo and behold, the guy lost custody of his kids. Everybody said he was nuts. He got kicked to the curb. Well, then like a year later or less, this movie, Mrs. Doubtfire, comes out, where it just so happens that the woman that was taking this guy's kids from him looked just like Miss Doubtfire, sounded just like Miss Doubtfire. And the name Miss Doubtfire is indicative of this idea of doubting that there's a fire, you see? So what you have to understand, bro, is that when intelligence agencies decide they're going to target you, they have 1,000 ways a Sunday of making you miserable. They have 1,000 ways a Sunday of making you feel entirely isolated and alone.
No, that's 100% true. And one of the things I like you want to move the Republic to Phoenix. I love the Phoenix area. Weren't you at Charlie's Memorial as well? I think I saw you there. I was there. Were you there?
I went shortly and briefly. I gave my respects. I'm not a big fan of crowds.
Yeah.
January 6th was an anomaly.
You were the leader of the crowd. I mean, that is an anomaly for sure. No, okay, but Jacob, there's a few more things we do have to hit on that are very interesting in this thing. Now, you were catfished by a Michelle Rodriguez lookalike. What is this all about? Was this a government agent pretending to be Michelle Rodriguez?
No, dude, I got a thing for her. Absolutely. I think she's beautiful.
I
like her vibe.
Yeah,
I'm actually more interested in what she does, outside of her work, as far as in Hollywood, some of her charity work with kids, or, some of the other things that she's done. Like, there's a documentary that she did called Reality of Truth, where it just so happens she's into everything that I'm into.
No, is she?
But anyway,
wait, real quick. No, but is she based? Is she kind of like shamanistic or whatever? Is she into all that stuff?
Yeah, at least that's what it seems. I don't know about base. She's kind of a liberal, but the thing is that doesn't matter to me. The point of all of this is that I don't think it was her in the first place. I think it was the NSA, and I think that they were using her because they knew I kind of had a crush on her. They were using her as a way of getting to me and making me think that she was contacting me. And then they told me to keep it a secret, which I did. And then when it became clear that I could keep it secret, that's when they revealed their identity to me, that it was the NSA. And then after that, I started getting buzzed with Black Hawk helicopters and shit.
Dude, Jacob, you are I know a lot of people are probably listening and they probably think what you're saying sounds crazy, but I would honestly say that a lot of it makes sense. But at the same time, you probably thought it would be impossible that you would be the face of the world's biggest insurrection, right? So, I mean, is that an accident? I don't think that was an accident. I feel like you didn't mean to be, but they casted you in that role. Am I wrong for speculating that? You were unwittingly the leader of the biggest, insurrection of all time.
This is how I look at it. The image that went out after my image went viral of the Simpsons character, that's photoshopped.
That's fake. So there was no. Real quick, I want to clarify that there was no Simpsons thing. That was fake, because I know everybody posted some Simpsons thing with the horn. That was not predictive or anything.
That's right. It was fake. So, but all the other stuff like 9/11 or COVID or Donald Trump coming down the escalator or them putting their hand on the ball or whatever, all of these things were a part of Simpsons episodes. Okay. Now, if you understand the fact that Matt Groening is a Simpson as a Mason,
33rd degree.
Donald Trump is a Mason.
Is Donald Trump a 33rd degree Freemason?
I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's a Mason.
Wow.
I'm not gonna explain how or why I know that. I'm just gonna say I know. And so when you also understand that most of our president or many of our presidents have either been Masons or a part of the Illuminati or a part of the Rosicrucians, or, even something like being a part of the Vatican and being Catholic, that didn't really work out well for JFK. But, the idea here is that there's all these different ways of getting, quote unquote, in the club. If you dig what I'm saying.
No, I know. And I know you can just obviously skip lots of levels if you're powerful enough. Hey, what do you think about Gnosticism? And they say that the secret societies believe in polytheism. Can you elaborate on that, Jacob?
Sure. So Gnosticism and Gnostic Christianity is essentially the belief that Yaldabaoth is this like almost like bastard child of Sophia, which is this goddess.
So Sophia is the
And
top god,
this
or the monad's the top god? I always get confused. I'm new to this. I don't know anything about Gnosticism. I'm just now learning about it.
Well, there's a number of levels. I'm just trying to like get out like the basics of like the matrix and what it is that we're going through so that people can kind of understand like how this relates to modern times. But yeah, there's like a hierarchy, and Sophia is like a goddess within this hierarchy, and she has this child Yaldabaoth, which is actually Saturn. And this child Yaldabaoth believes that it's the only god, or that it's the only thing in creation, and that from that belief it creates this whole other universe, the physical universe, that it is quote unquote god of. And it has these archons or demons that it is placed in charge of this system that is the Yaldabaoth matrix, right? And the way that you get out of Yaldabaoth's matrix, or the way that you get out of the satanic, system, is through transcendence with gnosis, which gnosis is like divine knowledge that comes from on high, either through Sophia or these other higher levels, other higher gods, and it comes to you. And through that knowledge or that gnosis, you gain larger and larger understandings that allow you to transcend this matrix that is the illusion of Yaldabaoth or Satan.
Yeah, see that, I know that sounds crazy too, but that sounds right. Like this world does seem like it was kind of invented in this weird, almost counterproductive way. I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird how the world works. And
well, actually, forgive me, it's actually the system, not the world. So
the system,
a system has been created that is the antithesis of the way that life is supposed to be, right? This is why, like, the whole thing in Saturnism or Satanism is everything is inverted. Right. So in a satanic system, good is bad and bad is good.
Yeah. Well,
okay?
doesn't
That's why,
Islam,
a lot of these Masons practice like child sacrifice and stuff like that, because for them, it's like something that in their eyes, bad is good and good is bad. And that allows them access to like information or to these demonic entities that give them information, which allow them to create technology and stuff like that. And this stuff's been going on since like Enoch's time, so the Watchers and like demons, or like what some people call the evil Anunnaki or the Archons. There's all sorts of different names for it. And these entities distort things for a time. And then, basically a prophet or God, Yeshua, the same soul, shows up and says, y'all done fucked up. And they're going to have to pay the price.
Well, that's what they say Jesus was. Jesus was sent from the real God to warn us about the fake God. And so that's why Jesus is the one true God. And that's why they say that there's a Trinity, because even though there's one God, there's three of them. I don't know. It's very confusing. I think you might know it better than me. But it's very interesting stuff. Now, back to the lawsuit. I kind of want to wrap up. And then you're suing Israel. Now, what are some of your biggest complaints about Israel? I have a couple, but what do you think about the propaganda war that they're losing, and now they're paying people $7,000 a tweet? Would you not take $7,000 if Benjamin Netanyahu tried to, ask you to tweet something nice about Israel?
Dude, I turned down $50 million to put my face on an alcohol bottle.
What? What was it going to be? Was it a beer or liquor? What kind of alcohol?
Liquor. Yeah, it was liquor, like hard liquor. But I was like, no, dude, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking no 50. I don't care how much money you offer me. I'm not putting my face on alcohol bottle. So, $7 grand from Netanyahu, give me a break, dude. So I'll put it this way, dude. Whether it be Israel or the Fed, we're talking about the same entity. That's why I threw Israel in there. And what you have to understand is that the Fed and Israel, the same people that are behind them, they're using Israel as basically a proxy state to, in one way or another, act like a mask for their global New World Order. And they're using America through the proxy state of Israel and lobbying and all that stuff, and the Fed. So they got us with the Fed, they got us with Israel, and they're like pincering us, they're like squeezing us and moving us around. That's why Trump, dropped those 3 bombs on Iran. Okay, which without congressional approval, that is treason. Without declaration of war, that's basically treason, because Netanyahu asked him to do it. And then now he's like talking about going to war in Venezuela without any congressional declaration of war. Okay, so, and now he's also going to places like Portland and Chicago with the military. This is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I don't like the troops on the street. Now, you also said in the lawsuit that you are the rightful president. How is that possible?
Okay. So 1871, the Organic Act, the idea of the United States of America becoming a corporation,
Yes.
right? We all know, when Ulysses S. Grant basically seceded to the New World Order when the Vatican and the London Palace, the Rothschilds, who bankrolled both at that time and still, they came to Ulysses S. Grant. They said, look, you're in total debt. We're going to bail you out, just be a part of this order, this Washington, D.C., London Palace, Vatican order. So when Ulysses S. Grant did that, he basically moved us away from the old republic. He moved us away from the old constitutional republic by putting us on this corporate American system, you see?
Yeah.
Now, in 1913, another level got added to that with the Federal Reserve Bank. So we got more deeply entrenched in this corporate American system, which is once again unconstitutional. And then after that, we get into World War I, and then after that, we have this massive bureaucratic growth, with FDR and basically communism in the United States. And that's why we have this massive regulatory bureaucracy that's still slowing us down and ruining our lives. And then you have World War II, and then we bring Nazis over after World War II and place them at the highest levels of government power, appointed power. All of these things are acts of treason. Okay? All of these things are acts of treason. Okay,
the Operation Paperclip was really bad.
All of them are also.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, Operation Paperclip in and of itself, right? That in and of itself, right? So the idea here is that the old republic was unmanned. Okay, the old republic, the old constitutional republic was abandoned. And they brought us out onto this maritime law, right? Mm-hmm. They brought us out onto this corporatized law. That's why we have the gold fringes around the flag, and that's why we go to the Fed and all that stuff. We're on maritime law.
That's why it's called the birth
constitutional
certificate.
Republic, which is not on maritime law, was unmanned. Well, and that is the republic that I saved.
Oh, I see.
That is the republic that I manned.
The old one,
that is the
not the current.
I said,
not the current maritime law, because that's why it's called like a birth certificate. That's why it's like that's why it's called a court of law, because you play a game on a basketball court. Like, there's all these kind of weird stuff that they talk about, this maritime law stuff, and how you don't have freedom, you actually have liberty.
Oh.
You have liberty. You don't have freedom.
It's the code, Alex. It's in the language, and it's in the code. So when we get into the lawsuit, and why I'm saying I'm the rightful president is because I'm the only one, at least that I know of, that has a record of the fact that I have resisted this system to the nth degree, that I've done everything I can to bring it to its knees, to end it, to not participate in it. And I've also done everything I can to protect the constitutional republic of the United States, including being willing to sacrifice my own life. And I have the legal documentation to prove this. And I also have the legal documentation to prove the treason of the government over the course of decades.
Well, so how do we crowdfund this?
I've taken.
Have you made a link to crowdfund this yet?
No, dude. Listen, what I need from people is their support, their time, their attention. What I need from them is to share the truth. What I need from them is their support when I go to court. Okay? Because here's the thing. If look at it like this, I'm doing this for everybody. Not just me and future and like my future, but everybody's future generations, for the 7th generation, because we're experiencing 5th generation warfare right now, right?
Yeah.
So the idea here is that the only way we're going to win is if somebody has a plan that is essentially 5th or 6th generation warfare that pushes back against the other plan and uses that momentum against them to end up creating a better country. And that's what the plan, or the legal code, the good legal code that I'm placing into the bad legal code system, is designed to do. Now, final point, and I'll try to make this fast. I am the real president. I'm the only one that has a legitimate claim to it, because I have the legal proof that I've resisted the old system, tried to repair the old system, resisted this new one, this corrupt one rather, and that I've actually, in one way or another, attempted to do so without ever firing a shot, without ever actually having drawn any blood, but only sacrificing of myself, right? So in doing that, there is like an opportunity that the public has to use this legal loophole that I have found within my lawsuit when I sue the system, use this legal lawsuit to go through this loophole. There's something called full spectrum dominance, Alex. We talked about it before. I'm just going to go over it briefly. It's a military term. It means control over every aspect of a country's life, every aspect of an individual's life. It starts first with psychological warfare and the domination of the mind through propaganda and mind control, okay, MK Ultra type stuff. And once you control the mind of the country or the person, you control the land, the air, and the airspace, the seas and the waters. You control the subterranean, deep underground military bases, extraterrestrial, space and satellites, chemical and biological agents, the currency, the technology, cell phone towers, televisions, radios, etc. You control all of that because you first control the mind. So what this lawsuit does is it gives everybody the opportunity to put on a new mind, to put on a new hat, to see things a little bit differently and choose new leadership. And do so without ever firing a shot. Because you guys, in all honesty, I want you to really think about it. The other option is this. You trust a government that says there is no Epstein client list, keeps sending your money and your people over to either Israel or to Ukraine. They're not tending to Maui. They're not tending to LA. They're not tending to North Carolina. They're not tending to Texas, who just got flooded out. You know, like they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not ending the Fed. They haven't done anything
They're
as far as
spraying more stuff in the
lobbying.
sky. I'm saying they're doing more chemtrails. That's why it flooded in Texas. So they're adding crap that we don't need.
So that's pretty much where it's at. That's all I wanted to really say was that, like, you guys, this is our best shot, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? So being sane would be doing something different. And we have all the legal proof that we need. These people in their secret societies, they've published what it is that they believe and what it is that they're going to do. You know,
no, they do.
We don't even need all of that if you just look at the lawsuit.
Yeah, well, they have to reveal it. That's part of their moral, compass, whatever. As they feel less bad if they kind of, reveal it to us, and then we just willingly choose to participate. Now, with all this being said, this is very interesting, but I want to bring on our next guest because I would like to introduce you guys. I don't know if you've ever met. Now, this guy is David Khait, but we didn't lose the QAnon. Did we lose Jacob?
No.
Okay, we got to make a little overlay. So we have the one, the only David Khait from the Fearless Debate Tour getting assaulted, as well as the QAnon Shaman Jacob Chansley. Now, David, are you familiar with Jacob's work of storming the Capitol? I think you're muted. They said you're muted, but maybe it was us.
Oh, there you go. I of course, who isn't familiar with it?
He's a viral sensation. Now, David, you as a fearless debater, I didn't even really plan this, but we were talking about the show, like maybe this could, spur a debate, because they brought up this lawsuit. Jacob is suing the Trump administration as well as a lot of other people for $40 trillion, and Israel is being named in that lawsuit. Now, I agree. Maybe why not? Israel has a lot of money. Maybe we should sue Israel. Is he justified in suing Israel, David?
Well, I think that's something that you got to leave me out of it because I'm from there. So
I know. Well, why can't you defend it? What do you mean leave you out of? You should be the one that's saying don't sue me.
Anybody could do whatever they want to, right? If he wants to, name them as somebody that he wants to sue, absolutely, by all means. It doesn't mean that it's going to result in anything, but hey, for the fun of it, why not? You can name anybody you want to in the lawsuit.
I like that attitude. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, there are a lot of attorneys in Israel, so I'm sure they can handle it. Now, Jacob, what do you want to say to David, the fearless debater who's been getting assaulted? You've been assaulted. Can you meet in the middle? Maybe he's from Israel. Can you maybe maybe take out Israel in the lawsuit and then leave everybody else in?
Please, for me, just personally for me, take Israel out of there.
Thank you. For David, would you consider this, Jacob?
No. But thank you for trying.
Yeah, and good luck, Jacob. I hope it works out.
No, but be for real.
Thanks, man.
Be for real, though, Jake, because this is the argument. And David, I know a lot of people are arguing, anti-Israel, pro-Israel. I'm sure it's a topic that a lot of people want to discuss. But I think it comes down to the argument, is Israel the tail that wags the dog, or is it the other way around? And I really do think, obviously, America is a more powerful country than Israel. But people like Jacob, and I'm not trying to label you, Jacob. Do you think Israel's more powerful than America?
What I believe is that the people that are behind the Fed are behind Israel, and the people that are behind the Fed are the ones controlling America.
I think.
Well, that's actually interesting. Can I just ask you, what does that mean?
What that means is that if you look into who got the deed for the land when Israel was first established after World War II, do you know who that was?
Can you tell me?
It was the Rothschilds, and they got it from the crown. They got it from the royal family, which is kind of funny because they were already bankrupt ruling the royal family, so it might as well be one hand paying the other, on the same body. But they are the ones that have the deed or had the deed. And from there, the state of Israel began to grow. And the Rothschilds and their ilk are the ones behind the Fed, right? So the same
are they
small
behind the
group
Fed?
of entities. Yes. What you got to understand, dude, is that are you familiar with with what are called rat holes?
No, inform me more, Jacob.
I'm kind of confused on a rat hole.
I heard.
Are you talking about like what is it they say? You go in a rabbit hole. I don't know what a rat hole is. That the same thing?
No. The idea is like you get somebody to represent your interest and be like a buffer between you and somebody else, so that you got plausible deniability.
Yeah, that's like how Joe Biden.
So especially when it comes to money. Okay, so have you ever read the book The Creature from Jekyll Island?
I have not.
That's about the Federal Reserve and how it's horrible. Yes.
Well, might I recommend you do that, sir?
Sure, I'll definitely do it afterwards. It's still taking you a while to tell me exactly what you meant, so.
About what? About the idea that the Fed and Israel are essentially the same
Alex
entity?
actually asked you a pretty good question. Is Israel controlling America, or is America controlling
Yeah,
Israel?
I think that
I
is a good
personally
question,
think that
yeah.
America controls Israel,
I do
and
think-
it hinders Israel's ability to do anything.
And I do agree with that. I think obviously my complaint with Israel is Netanyahu and some of the leadership. I don't like that, but I would obviously always argue that America is much more powerful than Israel. It's not even a question. But I do have the argument. I see like the anti-Israel people. They think Israel totally controls America. I don't know. Is that the way it is? I mean, does Israel control America according to you, Jacob?
I want you to understand something. How many APAC guys do each of our congressmen?
That is true, David. What about
how
that?
many of them have
88%.
Well,
88%.
How about I actually explain to you how it works, right? And how about this? I'll just straight up say it. I was born in Israel. I am Jewish. I hate AIPAC. I hate the ADL. I think that all of that should be banned. Absolutely. There's no room for dark money to influence politicians whatsoever. But if you're going to make the claim that AIPAC, because of AIPAC, that controls politicians, that is hilarious. You're not even going to talk about the other foreign countries that pour money into our politicians to control them. Why is it always Israel, Israel, Israel,
David,
Israel?
forgive me.
Yeah.
Forgive me. You interrupted. I didn't even get a chance to get into half of my argument, not even a third.
Sure. Let's go to it.
All right. When you understand the way that Israel is an essential part of the Masonic plan regarding World War I and World War II and what's called what we're in world now, World War III, right? And how that relates to monotheism.
Wait, is Freemasonry Jewish though? Wait, time out now. So we got to get
yes, we're in World War III.
But a couple clarifications, Jacob. No, we can get into World War III. Just a couple clarifications. It's because Freemasonry uses Kabbalah stuff. That's why it's Jewish. Because I did think that Freemasonry and Judaism were different. They are. Yeah. So now they're together.
So what you got to keep in mind is that
my problem, Jacob, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you keep equating Jews to Israel, and that is anti-Semitism, and I never used that word.
When was the last time I said Jew? I'm just curious.
I don't know if we said Jew. I don't know if anybody said Jew, but Jacob only hates. He only hates Israel. He doesn't. He's not anti-Semitic.
Israel, you're equating it to Jews, right? Because you're saying Israel's behind it, and your example of it was with the Rothschilds.
Respectfully, what I've done is I've said the people that are behind Israel are behind the Fed, and then I asked you if you've done your research and read the book from The Creature from Jekyll Island. You said no. So with respect, there's a certain amount of uninformed that you are and informed that I am, that I don't have a chance to delineate to you now because we just don't have the time on why it is that I believe what I believe. Hold on, just listen to me. I have on several occasions on my Twitter made it very clear that I believe that what is happening right now in Israel is not representative of Judaism. That I believe that Judaism has been hijacked by Khazarians, by Eastern European people that pretend to be Jewish, but actually practice Babylonian satanic rituals. They worship Saturn. Okay?
Do you believe that the current state of Israel? Do you believe that the current state of Israel is founded on Jewish law?
No, it's secular. It's secular. No, but David, that is.
No, I do not.
We're okay. I want you guys to go back and forth. No, but is that fair? Because it's, what is it? The military and the government is secular, and there's parts that aren't secular. So he's saying that they're doing like Babylonian blood rituals, but is there any crossover?
Jacob is honestly saying a bunch of stuff, throwing all the useful words. And listen, I don't have a problem with you, Jacob, but I just have a problem when people hear a bunch of cool words and want to throw it all together and make stuff. And I'll be honest with you, this entire time, you haven't made your point of how Israel controls America. You keep talking about how Judaism was hijacked and how certain people own the Fed, but you're saying that Israel owns the Fed, but it's really the Rothschilds. So you're trying to kind of walk this fine line. Like, again, if I was to say that a country controls our politicians, no, I'm actually strawmanning what you're saying.
I'm trying to help you to understand, but we keep getting diverted.
I'm open to it.
Allow me to just answer your question about how Israel or the lobbying apparatus from Israel is largely impacting American foreign policy, in particular in the Middle East.
Sure.
Let's talk about, say, for example, the dancing Israelis on 9/11. Let's talk about, for example, the way that Israel benefited from the
conspiracy theories that have been debunked so long ago.
But but listen, to be fair, Jacob, I'm not even trying to debate you on David's side, but to be fair, there were Palestinians, a lot of people dance. I'm saying even if there were Jewish people that dance, there were Palestinians and Muslims that dance. You know what I mean?
I lived in Jerusalem at the time, Alex. 10 minutes behind me was a Palestinian village, and they were shooting fireworks for a week straight after 9/11.
There was a lot of countries celebrating.
Listen to me. I'm not here to debate you on this. I'm trying to explain my opinion, and we keep going around in circles because there's not clarity here.
Okay, how about this?
So
how about this? No.
Time out.
Let's make it easier. Wait, guys, let's make it easier. Let's simplify this.
I knew that was going to make you react emotionally. That's why I said it.
Oh, damn.
So
emotionally, because it's stupid. But go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry. I kind of hijacked your show.
No, I don't mind
Please, listen, okay? If you look at, for example, the way that the Israeli lobbying apparatus was partly behind JFK's assassination. If you look at the way that they stole our nuclear secrets, if you look into the Gulf of Tonkin, if you look into the man, are you familiar with Mayor Lansky?
Israel didn't do the Gulf of Tonkin.
And his involvement with the government. And if you understand that
when you say the Israeli lobby apparatus, what are you talking about?
Stop talking.
But just
talking about
clarify
Please, just stop. Please just stop talking. So when you understand that we're talking about both dark money and light money, we're talking about money that's coming from NGOs and charities and corporations that are quote unquote Jewish owned or Israeli backed, okay, or Israeli owned. And then you've also got people like Mayor Lansky, who's working with the mob and the CIA and stuff like that on the dark money side. And when you understand how all of this relates to, say, the gold that went missing after World War II, if you understand how all of this relates to our nuclear program, if you understand how all of this stuff relates to the Fed and to like this unconstitutional financial apparatus that's being used to control the American government, that's being used to control the American economy and therefore the American people. And then you understand that the people, the small, less than 1% of the population that's behind all of this are the same people that are behind the founding of the state of Israel. They're the same people that are behind the Fed and the international banking apparatus. We're talking about the IMF. We're talking about the World Bank. We're also talking about the Bank of International Settlements. When you look at who's behind all these banks, you look at the names that are at the top, you see where the problem is.
Where's the problem? That they're all represented by the state of Israel, or that they have Jewish last names?
Is Israel the only name on my lawsuit,
Are you going to answer my
David?
question? Jacob, are you going to answer my question?
Say it again. What was the question? I wasn't paying attention.
We're going to have to wrap things up
respectfully,
here in a
here's my
second.
best advice for you, and I really do mean this respectfully. I debate college students on a daily basis. I've done this for over a year. They present an 80 to 90% better argument than whatever you just articulated. Don't debate. I mean, like you kept telling me when you understand. I don't understand.
You're not coming prepared because you're not coming prepared. You're uneducated because you're uneducated.
Well, first of all, I came here to talk about the Fearless Debate Tour.
I know, I didn't expect this to
debating
go.
you,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I'm fine to do. Yeah. I have no problem to always
you're
debunk
fearless.
these
You're
crazy
fearless.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fearless. Exactly. That's why I have no problem doing it. But again, right? Maybe let's start with what is the Israeli lobby, right? Are you talking about AIPAC?
Yeah, I think he means that, right?
Yeah, you're talking about AIPAC. So, Jacob, tell
I'm just
me,
talking about
does the state
AIPAC.
of
Okay.
does the state of Israel own AIPAC? Does it control AIPAC? Does it fund AIPAC? Is there any receipts of Israeli government pouring any money into AIPAC? And
I
again,
mean,
I hate AIPAC.
I know, but
So can
David,
you
come on.
answer any of those, Jacob?
I think you're being a little naive if you do not think that, every single decision is in Israel's interest. I mean, even if they don't own it, it's kind of like de facto.
But they're not pouring any money into it. It's Americans who believe it exists. Americans who believe and advocate for their government to have better relationships with said country. In this example, it's Israel. It exists in every single country pretty much. So it's Americans who collect donations from other Americans who believe in that cause. And then they use those money to go to politicians and say, hey, if you're also pro-Israel, we will give you that money. Jacob, hold up 1 second. I have a problem with dark money in politics. So I'm on board to ban all lobby groups. I have a problem with lobby groups. But if we're going to be objective about this, which is the whole point of a debate, is to be objective, not your feelings and to get me to understand whatever. You have to look at it objectively. No money comes from the Israeli government, from any Israeli citizen, from any Israeli official or anything into AIPAC. If that was the case, AIPAC would have to register as FARA, but they don't because they don't need to, because they don't collect any money outside of anybody that is an American citizen. And that is the reality of it. If you have a problem with that, which I have a problem with that, get on board with me to ban lobby groups. And let's do it, because that is the solution to close AIPAC, to close any dark influence over our politicians.
How does that sound, Jake?
Well, look, dude. I want to make something very clear. I got no problem with Jews. I got lots of Jewish friends. I got no problem with the people of Israel, just like I got no problem with the people of America, just because I got a problem with Donald Trump and this administration, or because I got a problem with Netanyahu and his administration. All right. I got no problem with people. What I got a problem with is human institutions that try to tell people how to live their lives. And to try and sit here and say that the Israeli lobby group or the Israeli government doesn't have any sort of a sway over American foreign policy, but we just dropped 3 freaking bombs on Iran. We haven't stopped them from genocide in Gaza. Okay, to say that the American government isn't in one way or another in sway of this financial or in one way or another military apparatus because the contractors make money from that stuff, then you're foolish. You don't understand your own system. And because I care about the people in Israel, because I care about the people in Gaza, because I care about the people in America, I'm going to call out the state. Okay, and that's all I'm doing.
Right. And that's your right, Jake.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, before you go,
ahead, Alex.
How can people find you and support you? Because I do want to give David a little time to talk about his tour, and we got to play a clip of him getting his ass kicked. But Jake, listen, I respect you, Jake. I'll join this lawsuit. I'll sue Israel too. Maybe they'll settle out of court and I get some money. And I do believe that they do have Israeli spies pretending to be Michelle Rodriguez and getting you to send dick pics. I do believe that actually they do that. I think that is a strategy of the deep state. So, Jacob, before we go, how can people find you and support you?
Just go to X, or Twitter, at America Shaman on X or Twitter, at America Shaman. That's America Shaman on X or Twitter. Yeah, I'm actually shadow banned, so you might have to do some digging to find me. X really isn't as pro speech, as pro free speech as Elon likes to pretend it is. But you can go and find me there. And dude, I actually just put up all of my Epstein file spaces. I did 1 hour breakdowns of the Epstein files and all the stuff that they don't want you to know, not just this government, but the Israeli government, the New World Order types. What they don't want you to know is in the Epstein files. It's all on my profile, along with my catastrophic disclosure video. That's about, I'd say, 15 hours, maybe 13 hours of constant content that will inform you in ways that you're not going to get anywhere else. Thank you for your time, Alex. Nice chatting with you, David.
Jacob, you rule, dude.
Good chatting with you.
God bless you, brother. And if you ever need to storm a building or something, call me. I'm down to storm anything with you. Okay, David, dude, thank you for coming on. That was always fun. I wish we kind of debated even more. But, dude, you guys have been going viral with these fearless debates. I know you guys have, you guys have gotten a little criticism from the left, or a lot of criticism for the left, for going on these campuses. But you got a lot of positive attention, too. So can you tell us kind of, what's been going on?
Yeah, and hey, I appreciate the warm-up for tomorrow. We never actually get the chance to debate Israel when we do this stuff, so I love
Wait,
it.
on campuses, you're not debating Israel? When I go to campuses, I feel like that's like the number 2 topic, but that's literally, it's either that's
That is
usually
literally
one or
all
two.
college students realistically want to
Yeah.
talk about. And just in respect of Charlie Kirk, we're not doing it because half the conversations are trying to tie Israel to Charlie Kirk's
Oh, I see. I
assassination.
didn't even think about
So
that.
we
Yeah.
don't want to entertain any of that BS. So, but
The
to
liberals,
answer your
real quick,
question,
David, the liberals that came to my
yeah.
event, and there was only 3 that showed up, and really 1 that actually wanted to debate. He was with 2
Yeah.
friends. We debated Tylenol. It was so stupid. And the guy was nice. I actually liked the guy, but about Tylenol and autism and is Trump lying. We were doing the Make America Healthy Again debate, which is fine, but it was not that great of a topic, I didn't think. But sorry, go ahead. So people,
Yeah,
you're not
we're there to
Israel because of
debate
the
things that
Charlie
actually
consensus.
impact Americans. Oh, sorry.
No,
didn't
I was
hear
saying
you.
you're not debating Israel because everybody's blaming it. Yeah. No, I get it. I get why you want to stay away from that topic because everybody wants to steer that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and personally, I have such a bias being from there that even what I consider to be objective facts are probably a bias. So it's hard for me to be, objective when I'm arguing this, just like anybody else. But to answer your question, yeah, we've had some crazy stuff happen along the tour so far, but I just want to stress this so much because I know lately we've been showing crazy videos. The majority of our conversations, the majority of our events are very peaceful, very civil. We have a lot of what I'll call disenfranchised Democrats recently who are coming to the crowd and telling us that they can't stand to see how the progressive left of their party is celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And us being present on that campus, I think, is really important because, one, it shows the conservatives who may be scared right now and more scared than they were before to express their opinions that they shouldn't be scared. But I think it does something even better for the left. When they see us at our worst, at our lowest, us still resorting to our words rather than violence, I think that truly has an impact because they see what the left does, like what their side of the aisle does in terms of the response to this or response to similar events. Yet they see us do something completely different, still be peaceful with them, still be civil with them, still want to understand their position and why we may disagree about deporting illegal immigrants, but at least we're willing to have that conversation rather than call them fascists, call them whatever it is. And I think that's been the real successful part of the tour so far.
Well, like you said, you've had more of the conversations have been positive, but then you see the people that are like, oh, you're rage baiting black people to hit you. That's what they said on that, on the black campus. But what happened there? Like, why did they really get, physical like that? Because I've had that at West Georgia, and it is scary. Like, even the cops are kind of shook because there's like 100 people around. Even, they're kind of like, I don't want to pull out my gun and start shooting people. So, I guess, like, what was this really as bad as it looks on camera, or kind of tell us the vibes, how it really was, not just what we're seeing from the cell phone footage?
Unfortunately, I don't think that the camera did enough, to be honest. If you were there with me, you would have honestly felt like an angry mob was trying to do everything that they possibly can to hurt you.
Did you tell them you were Jewish?
You. I don't know.
should have said, I'm Jewish. This is a hate crime. You're going to go to jail for a long time. And they still wanted to hit you. Wow. That's not smart on their part.
Yeah.
Very
I told
dumb.
them an immigrant, used all the cards that I can possibly
Yeah.
play
You even
on
said
them,
I'm an immigrant? They wouldn't even vibe with the immigration gimmick? Oh my gosh, these people are sick. Okay, so you tried to level with them, and they still wanted to cut your head off, metaphorically.
Pretty much. And I think the best part of this whole thing was that we unintentionally led a massive Black Lives Matter march that we didn't plan to do. So I think that if there's any positives from there, we should get a little payment from Black Lives Matter for that. If they have any money left from, spending it all on mentions.
Yeah, Patricia Cullors.
But Alex, I do want to, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying Patricia Cullors, I think, laundered most of that money by buying 4 houses over $1 million each. But go ahead. What were you going to say, David?
I was going to say that we came to do the same thing that we've done everywhere. We didn't know it was an HBCU until the night before. So we got there. It was a public university. We tried to call in and get a permit. They didn't answer. We're not going to let that stop us from expressing our free speech. And just to stress this enough, like at University of Maryland 2 days ago, we didn't have a permit. The cops came and kicked us off. We packed our things and we left peacefully. We didn't have an angry mob take it upon themselves to decide to chase us off campus. So we got to Tennessee State University, set shop like always. We had a sign that said DEI should be illegal. We had 2 great conversations with these 2 young gentlemen about why we think DEI is racist. And guess what, Alex? We changed both of their minds because when we put it in the context of why we should look at you through the lens of race, which is what DEI forces institutions to do, They agreed with us. I mean, like that literally brings us back to the dark history in America that I think all of them tried to avoid, or at least we thought. But then came a group of 20 women, and I can't stress this enough, women. The men wanted us there, respectful. I don't know about all, but the majority were, and they wanted to have those conversations with us. But the group of 20 women rolled up and suddenly started to kind of like yell at us.
Act emotional. Act real emotional, right? Because they're women. Women are more emotional.
Yeah, there you go. Like, what are you doing on my campus? And get off my campus and stuff like that, right? And why are you talking about race? You have no idea what it's like to be black in America. And you name the arguments, right, that we were hearing. And at the same time, the cops came and they were like, hey guys, you have a permit, blah, blah, blah. And while we were having that discussion, I asked, we just need a verbal command. So I say, are we getting kicked off campus? They said, we don't know. We respect the First Amendment here. Let me call my supervisor. And this is all on camera. Everybody can go see it. Before he could even call his supervisor, it was another group of 20, 30 people now. It wasn't just women that showed up. And they really started to, take things to another level. They started to steal our signs. They started to yell at us. When another person stole our sign, we tried to go after that sign. Another person got in the face and said, you better not do anything, like try something. And the cops had to intervene, get in the middle, establish like a safe zone for us, if you would say so. And things just would escalate more and more, and more people showed up, and they got angrier, and they would just nonstop yell at us.
And snowballed.
Yes, and then about 7 to 10 minutes in, I noticed that somebody pulled a tool on me. A screwdriver. There you go. Sorry, it popped out of my head.
Well, a screwdriver.
He raised it above his.
Oh,
he
wow.
raised it above his head. Took 2 steps towards me, and that's when I took a couple steps back. I told a cop. I said, "Hey, this person just pulled a screwdriver on me." I went to my crew, Cam Higby, Andrew Vimo, Lance, and I told them, "Guys, no more figuring out if we can be on this campus. Let's get out of here." They're already making these racist threats against us. Now they're pulling tools on us. I don't want to be here when whatever happens next. But before I could even really finish, having that conversation with my boys, the cops already came back to us and told us, we need to get you guys off campus immediately for your own safety. Show me where your car is. Show them where the car is. Within 20 seconds, they made it an exit plan for us. And everybody can see what happened as we were exiting. We were literally leading an 150 to 200 person Black Lives Matter march, better than BLM could put on.
It was pretty good. It was a pretty good march. Now, speaking of Black Lives Matter and going to jail, do you realize that you and Cam are now accessory to, what is this, burglary? Because apparently, SOT number 3, you guys helped a man steal a bike. Is that what they're saying on the internet, David? Can we play this SOT? What is a SOT, this stolen bike SOT? SOT number 3. Okay, so let's see what SOT just clip.
I don't have any cash. I'm trying to sell your bike?
I'm trying to get on the train.
I don't have any cash, but if you have like PayPal or Venmo, I'll give it to you for free. Sure.
Oh my gosh, look, y'all are being so nice. You're going online to book him a ticket.
235?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to bring your bike?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at Cam being so
It's all right,
nice.
man. I got
Put the
you. You're good.
receipt.
Phone number?
Did y'all get him a first class
Oh, so
ticket,
you
or
have one?
is the ticket $100?
I don't know. I wasn't
You weren't there.
This
Okay,
was
yeah, you weren't
happening.
even
is the-
there.
this is the
I thought you might have
confirmation
been
number
there,
right
but okay,
They
well,
should
we
be,
can
so if you
tease
take this
Cam a
to the
little bit.
desk,
Hold on, let's
they
see.
should be able, and you tell them your name.
I
it's
So
showed
you're
it
not
like
in legal
30
you tell them all
trouble,
that
so you're
stuff,
not
they
going
should
to
be able to
jail.
print you off a ticket. Okay, man. Have a safe trip. You can take the bike with you. What's that?
I can take my bike.
Yeah, you can take the bike. Yeah, you can take the bike. Have a good one, man. Be safe.
Dude, that's funny, though, that Cam is kind of getting canceled. They're saying that he's accessory to burglary because that guy definitely stole that bike, but I don't know if he really stole it. But what do you think happened there? And you weren't there, so you're safe. You're not going to jail. But Cam, I think he's toast, right?
Yeah, I'll let Cam speak on that. I wasn't there for that, so I kind of only saw that on the clip. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, so if anybody wants to bring up any charges against my partner, Cam, feel free to do so. If you assume that he stole the bike simply because he's selling it for $10, that's a fair enough analysis. If it's anything more than that, then that's a little sketch, but hey, everybody has is entitled to their own opinion, but I'll let I'll let Cam speak on why he did that and whether
Cam was
he
trying to
is,
be nice. Cam was trying to be nice, but there is a saying, no good deed goes unpunished. Like I said, whenever you try to do something nice like that when really that guy didn't deserve, if you do nice to somebody that deserves it, that's not really a big deal. But like when you go out of your way to be nice to somebody that wouldn't be nice to you, like that guy in that situation, it always backfires. Like Cam doing the right thing, then he gets crushed online. Everyone's like, he stole that bike, when obviously Cam wasn't, trying to help him steal it. So it's funny how the internet works like that. Okay, now, before you go, we only got you for a couple more minutes. How can people support this thing? It's self-funded. Now, I know Netanyahu's paying influencers $7,000 per tweet. Is he paying y'all $7,000 per debate? What's the deal with that?
I would love AIPAC or whoever it is, instead of giving money to politicians, just send them over here. It's overdue. I don't know. I haven't gotten a single penny from Israel. I think that if anybody, I should be getting paid because I'm from there. And look at me, I'm fighting Jacob here for free. So
I know.
I don't know who they're paying $7,000.
They're giving an old
per
Xavier
post.
de Rousseau, a gay black man, and not a nice actual Israeli like yourself that's even putting in the work and facing these demons in person. So
Look at that. I always wear my chain and everything, BB. So come on, send me the check already. The Fearless Tour would love to be sponsored by Israel because we get that in our comments nonstop. So it would be nice to say, hey, you guys are right. We do get paid by Israel, but no, we're fully grassroots donations. Cam, Andrew, and Lance and I got on the phone 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks and a half ago, and pretty much said, hey, let's start this tour on Monday. That was Sunday. Monday, they flew into Atlanta, Georgia, where I live, and we've been on the road ever since then. We're fully self-funded through our donations. So if anybody wants to chip in and help the tour keep going, givesandgo.com/fearlessdebates, I believe it is. You'll find us.
I met the CEO.
Send us $5, $10.
I met the CEO of Give Sin Go. Great guy. That's actually a really good company. Way better than that GoFundMe bullcrap. So everybody should go. Everybody should go donate. So self-funded. You guys. What? And then before you go, how many colleges? The semester ends. In the middle of December. How many are you guys trying to do before the semester ends, roughly?
We don't know, but we're just going to keep going until there's no more money in the bank. So whenever we can't pay for hotels anymore, or Israel can't supply the hotels because of the inability to control all America, that's when we'll stop.
All right. Well, BB, send us some money. I'll join the tour if Netanyahu will sponsor it. You know what I mean? All right. Thank you, David.
Wait, Dave, can you say that link one more time? I'm trying to put it in the chat.
GiveSendGo/fearlessdebates, you said?
I believe. I just need to type it in real quick. Let's see. Gives and go.
Do you see I have a bulletproof vest? You think I'll be looking weird? People were teasing Crowder. I'm not teasing Crowder because he had a bulletproof vest, which I think was smart on Crowder. I'm not trying to bash Crowder, but people were teasing him for it, of course. The Charlie Kirk haters, would it be lame?
We found it.
Oh, he found it. I'm saying, would it be lame if I wear this on a debate? I kind of think it looks badass. This is somebody, our guy, KR Ammo, Vasily, he sent me a real deal bulletproof vest that'll handle over a 30-06 ammunition around.
I think it's well warranted, I mean, we get there and within 2 minutes, somebody's already tweeting, we're on our way to shoot you guys. So, hey.
But if they shoot me in the face, it doesn't help for my face. I mean, you know what I mean? It doesn't cover my face. So they need a face, a bulletproof face mask. Did they have that? I'm sure they have that, right?
Just, do the same thing Crowder did, a bulletproof glass. I just don't know what happens if somebody starts to shoot, because are you going to stand behind the glass? Are you going to start to...
I'm going to shoot back. I'm going to start shooting back.
Questions that I have.
That's what I would do. I'd shoot back. All right, David. Thank you, brother. Everybody go support the Fearless Tour. Tell Cam he's doing a great job. And if he needs to get bonded out of jail, I'll help him get out for stealing that bike. Accessory to burglary.
Thank you so much. But we always have Israel on our end to do that. So if anything,
that is true. They are good at letting people out of jail for crimes that they commit here in America. All right. We love you, David. See you. Have a good one. All right, guys. What a show. What a show. What a show. What a week of shows. So sad. I can't believe we're winding things down. How many weeks do we have left? Only 3 weeks left?
4.
4 weeks left. Thank goodness. I don't want the show to end, but the show's not technically going to end because I'm going to continue to do a show. So everybody go the Mind of Stein YouTube channel and the Alex Stein YouTube channel. Please go support that. I think there's maybe we can put the link in the chat or something like that, because I'm not going anywhere unless Israel decides to take me out, or they may pay me a bunch of money and then we can make more content, but it will have to be pro-Israel content and you guys will end up hating me, but that's fine because I'll be rich. So we're going to figure out what happens in the very near future, but I just know that I hope that you will. I don't know that you will, but I hope that you will join me on wherever I go next, because I love you guys. I couldn't do this without you chat rats in the chat. And I really appreciate the crew, Jimmy, Brandon, George, Chris, Nate, everybody that's been working so hard for the past 3 years. Love you guys. It is emotional. But, you know, that's life. You know, sometimes your girlfriend dumps you and you got to figure out what the hell. But I don't know if it's really a girlfriend dumping me, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying, you know, you go through life, you have breakups, whether it's in business or, you know, in your dating life, and you just have to be a man about it and buck up, buttercup. And I am the pimp on a blimp, so no need to worry for me, Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I think that's what Madonna said. Did I miss anything, Jimmy?
Nope. Just if you want to tease next week, you got Crack Amico Tuesday, Luke Coffee Wednesday, and then this is going to be interesting. Trump's old lawyer Jenna Ellis is joining the show Thursday. She's coming out of the woodworks.
Ooh, Jenna Ellis is coming out of the woodworks. Is that the proper saying? Woodworks? Is it woodwork? Whatever. She's coming on the show, and it's going to be spicy. And she was in that Trump lawsuit. And so, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to talk to her. All right, guys, we end the show the same way every time with the freestyle finale. So, DJ, hit that beat. Bulletproof vest on my motherfucking chest. When I rhyme, I am the best. When I rhyme, I pass the test. My family's got a big-ass crest. Rich from the top. Yes, I am a cop. We'll get a gun, make it go pop. Blow off your top. Never gonna stop. The round's gonna be downtown. Deep Ellen. When I shoot you, gonna be a felon. Gonna deport your ass like Ellen. And you know that I'm spelling all day long, spelling bee. Then I am HIV positive. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm depressed. I have HIV and AIDS. I love you guys. Peace and good night.